All right, guys, let's go. What's going on? We're going to hop right into it today. What's going on? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Blunt Politics. I am Boston Brian. I appreciate you guys. I don't know. I must have had it set up the last time. I was just trying to get right on after the internet problems where it didn't play the intro. So I apologize for that. I know you guys appreciate that. I know you guys like that music. So, but I appreciate you being here. Make sure you like the stream. Make sure you share this out. I would appreciate it if you do so. Should I, you know what? I feel like I should just give it to you. I feel like I'm really jipping you. I feel like you're really missing out if you don't get the intro music. So why don't I give you the intro music? I'll see you in 2 minutes. How about that? Maybe a little less. How about that? All right, what do you say we try this one more time? What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday night. I appreciate you spending your time and energy with me. This is Blunt Politics. I am Boston Brian. We're going to be talking a lot about this ridiculous bill that even the Republicans that are trying to derail our country, that are trying to damage our country, can't even do that correctly. They can't even get themselves on the same page in order to hurt our country and then benefit the richest people in this country. They can't even get that correctly because as of right now, what I'm reading here, at least on The Guardian, is the House is still at a standstill. It says about 22 minutes ago, House Republicans echo Trump's false claims that, quote, we're not cutting Medicaid as they push for over $900 billion in Medicaid cuts. The last vote that I'm seeing here on the timeline was about, let me see, blocks, key vote. Let's see here. 6 hours ago, preliminary motion on bill passes through the House on party lines, but unclear whether GOP has numbers for the later vote. Last I heard is Mike Johnson was hoping to get it done either today or tomorrow, but ladies and gentlemen, the incompetence just it never ceases to amaze me how incompetent they can't even damage our country correctly. You know what I mean? They have the power and they still cannot get through their evil, demonstrative, like unbelievably bad policies that they want to put in place. They can't even get themselves on the same page in order to do that. It's ridiculous. But before we get into all of that, also we have the United States withholding more weapons from Ukraine. Obviously in a time of desperate need for Ukraine, as it always is. So again, just one more signal, one more slap in the face, and one more, kind of backtrack. Like there was some people that were kind of hoping that Donald Trump was getting so frustrated with Vladimir Putin and his inability to come to the table and his ability to, I don't know, it seems like he wanted any peace whatsoever, and then was maybe going to do a little bit more to help the Ukrainians. But unfortunately, This doesn't seem to be so. Hey, let me see if I can show you this. That way, you guys can get a better idea of what I am talking about. This is this story that I'm talking about here. So, U.S. won't send some weapons pledged to Ukraine following a Pentagon review of military aid. We'll get into that. Also, like I said, this is the one I was looking at before. The House is at a standstill. This kind of gives a little timeline of what's been going on in the House today. We'll be looking at some of the responses from people like AOC, from people like Jim McGovern. Both had some good moments that I want to take a look at on the floor. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into, you know, basically where this bill stands and what is going to happen, who's still holding out, who's not holding out, what pieces of legislation are in, what pieces of legislation it seems like the House GOP members are upset that the Senate put back in or decided to add on top of, right? But again, before we get to all that, let me say hi to the chat, right? Let me say hi to the chat. So let me bring myself back here. That way I can see you guys in a nice, big, awesome way. All right. So first off, mods, thank you so much. I appreciate you so very, very much for keeping that chat a safe place where people can, again, engage in discourse, get their opinions out there, find new buddies online. So thank you guys, all of you, seriously, for spending your time here. Ada, where's Ada? I saw Ada. Ada, where are you? I see you in there. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Billy the Kid, let's go. Let's go, Billy the Kid. Putin owns Chump, therefore Chump will do whatever Putin says. It did. A lot of people have that feeling, that theory, but it seemed to be going kind of both ways. Like you never really knew what the hell he was going to do. But it seems like he's back to allowing the U.S. government to withhold critical weapons from the country of Ukraine when they're at a time of war. So, Gin up the base. What's going on, my man? How are you? What's happening? Moms, how are you, my dear? I appreciate you being here. Same with Pam, Dawn, Susie, Vicky. Where are you, Vicky? I seen you in there. Jimbo, what's going on, Jimbo? Appreciate you, brother. Adam, what's happening, man? Hang 10, bro. Appreciate you being here. Where's Diane? I see Diane in there. Bridget's in here. JD's in here. Where's Xavier? I see Xavier's in here. What's going on, Cam? Lisa, how are you on Facebook? I appreciate you, dear. Thank you so much. Make sure you guys hit the like button, share, subscribe. That would be fantastic. We're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. That would be, a pretty cool milestone. I think a pretty good goal that I set for us to reach. Modest. I'm not trying to shoot for the stars here. We're just trying to make sure that we get some steady and continuous growth. So therefore we can reach a certain size where maybe what we say kind of gets out into the atmosphere here on the social medias. You know what I mean? That way we can start getting some more interesting guests. And speaking of interesting guests, guys, on tomorrow's show, we're going to be speaking with the one and only former Republican Congressman Denver Riggleman will be joining us. It's going to be a good time. He's me and him really hit it off on the Ukraine humanitarian aid convoy trip to Europe that we had. So he's going to be a good sport, and he's going to come on, give us some time, give us his thoughts on possibly what's going on here with this bill, and also what's going on with Ukraine. Talk a little bit about how he went further and deeper into Ukraine when we stopped at Kyiv. So we're gonna have some good chat, good insights from a firecracker. He's a good guy. He's a good shit. I knew we were gonna get along right off the bat when we met. And it seems to be continuing on that path, and I really do appreciate him again for taking the time out. So tune in tomorrow on Thursday's show. That's again 2 p.m. Eastern. And that would be 1, that would be 12, that would be 11 a.m. Pacific. Sorry, I'm still like trying to adjust to the time difference. I probably should have it down by now, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Hit the like button. What do you say we get into it? Chet, what up, Chet? Watching Nate for you, bro. Dude, he's got one on there that's like 2 hours long or something like that, or even longer. I saw that was on there. I forgot to text you guys, but I figured you guys would definitely enjoy that. Because usually they're only about an hour long as far as I can remember. But, have fun. Enjoy for me. Get a couple giggles. Tell Dad not to cough himself to death. Oh, I appreciate it. Evie's on. How are you? How's everything? I appreciate you guys. Xavier, like I said, Frank, how are you, Olga? Thank you guys for being here. In some pain tonight, listening can't miss. Olga, oh man, I'm sorry. Well, I hope you feel better. I hope in some way I can take some, at least the mind off of the pain. That would be great for maybe 2 hours if the internet allows. But I'm so sorry to hear that you're in pain. I hope you feel better. Thank you for, again, spending your time with me. I hope you feel better. Thank you. All right, let's get right into. I could talk to the chat all night. You guys are hilarious. Which shit? Now we're watching you in surround sound. Oh man, what could be worse? You know what? You're not watching me in a curved TV. Sorry, Kirsty. Sorry. I really am sorry. I really am sorry. I'm just kidding. That was an inside joke that nobody's gonna get but my family, but that's okay. All right. Michael Irish, let's go. I've emailed you. Hope someday you catch up. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I'm not very good at that stuff. I feel like I am to some extent, but I'm sorry that I haven't seen the email that you're talking about. Uh-oh. I see a couple twitches in the camera, which is never good. But yeah, thank you so much, Michael Irish. I will take a look. I promise. Dame Dog, thank you so much. Ken Harbaugh said he's planning another trip to Ukraine. Very cool. He's a good man. He's a good man. Hopefully, I'll get him on the show. Maybe we can talk about what he's planning on doing. Oh, 10 gifted. Let's go, Ricky. Let's go, Ricky. Ricky. I appreciate that very much. And to the 10 fantastic individuals in the chat that are lucky enough to get one of the 10 gifted memberships that Ricky just threw in there, make sure you're thanking Ricky. Make sure you're throwing out some love because that is very nice and very cool to see. Thank you so much. Very helpful to the channel. It really is. So anybody that wants to join in with the gifting party, feel free. You can do that through a super sticker, super chat. You can become a channel member. There's a button just underneath me that you could press there easily, and it's I think about $2.99 a month, which is again less than a gallon of gas here in California. So again, I think for a month I'm worth at least a gallon of gas here in California. I don't know how to put that on the scale, but I'd say that's at least how that evens out. So thank you so much. There's also patreon.com/Boston Brian. Sorry, these headphones are not helping me right here. /Boston Brian. You can check that out. And I think for as little as $5 a month, you can become a Patreon there and engage in our VIP and Zoom monthly meetups that we have. Again, let me show you this month's dates. That way, everybody that is signed up can get these dates ready to rock and roll. So it's going to be July 15th and July 29th for the VIP. And again, July 15th is we'll call it the Gen Pop. the Gen Pop Zoom. No, but thank you. Make sure you guys are hopping in there. And again, anybody that signed up before those dates should be able to hop in there. You should be able to get the link there on Patreon. So thank you guys very much. All right. I don't like how the camera is kind of going in and out. I don't know if you're noticing it, but I'm noticing it, and I'm not liking it too much, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. All right, so let me see if I can share this screen again. We'll get back into this little area here. We'll do a refresh just in case I'm missing anything, because I always feel like when I report on something that's kind of like, up to date current news, that when I report it, something else is going to happen just as I'm reporting it, and what I'm saying is going to have no basis anymore. I'm always worried about that, but it doesn't seem like anything's changed. 33 minutes ago, House Republicans echo. So nothing's happened since then, per at least The Guardian. I know there's a few more things that I could probably check on. Let's see here. Mega Bill latest. This is the latest procedural snag that they were talking about here on Politico. Mega Bill hits unexpected procedural snag. I think that's what Congressman McGovern is speaking about there. So why don't we get into the rep from Massachusetts, Jim McGovern, and see what he had to say about this, unbelievably harmful bill that even the Republicans cannot get on the same page to pass. Like, just it's the incompetence at a level never yet seen before. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous that they themselves have gotten this far to get through a massive bill that they themselves for years touted against massive bills. They hate massive bills. But put that aside, they're trying to ram through this massive bill. And the House and the Senate Republicans cannot get themselves on the same page when they have the House, the Senate, and the executive branch, the president, to pass this friggin' thing. Uh-oh. Come on, don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. I'm gonna stop touching things, I think. I'm gonna stop touching things. I think it's the outlet that the camera's plugged into. I think it might be a loose, but I'm afraid to touch it. But I feel like if I don't touch it, something's gonna happen. Yeah, yeah, done. The the likes of which you've never seen. Exactly. Exactly. Right? So let's get into, let me see if I can show you this. I'm gonna open it on YouTube. That way it comes in a little better. Still thinking I may have to unplug the camera and plug it back in, but we'll see. Like again, we'll see how that goes. All right, let me make this full screen. Share this tab instead for you guys. Started from the beginning. Let's see what Mr. Jim McGovern had to say from the great state of Massachusetts.
Yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman's recognized.
Mr. Speaker, this process an abomination, legislative malpractice. Final text of this bill came out less than 24 hours ago. We met in committee an hour after it was posted. And now we're here considering a rule that only allows for 1 hour of debate. This bill is within the jurisdiction of 12 different committees. 1 hour is ridiculous. And every minute we're finding out new things that were snuck into the bill. A tax cut for whalers, and now we're learning about a gambling tax. Republican leadership and the White House are jamming this bill down our throats. And for what? We are not on a deadline, no looming crisis. We're here because Donald Trump wants a 4th of July party to celebrate this garbage bill. He wants fireworks and flags and cameras, not for this country, but for himself. So he says, close your ears, close your eyes, and vote for this bill. Honestly, sounds more like a cult than a Congress to me. Some Republicans promised their voters no cuts to Medicaid, no new debt. Now they're flipping faster than pancakes at a campaign breakfast. The House passed it, hoping the Senate would kill it. The Senate passed it, hoping the House would grow a spine. Everyone is playing a game of legislative chicken, voting for a bad bill and thinking the other chamber will be the one to fix it. This is nuts. And Trump says, have fun and vote yay. Have fun gutting Medicaid? Vote yay on taking away food from poor families? Are you serious? This bill is catastrophic. It is not policy. It is punishment. Let's talk facts. It slashes Medicaid, cuts Medicare, dismantles the ACA. It shutters rural hospitals, closes nursing homes, wipes out health centers. It takes food off kitchen tables, throws clean energy workers out of jobs, spikes utility bills. And why? So billionaires and oil companies can cash in. Big oil gets handouts, billionaires get tax breaks, working families get scraps, if that. Jeff Bezos just had a $50 million wedding in Venice, and they want to give him another tax break. Meanwhile, families making under $50,000 a year, well, they get less than $1 a day in tax cuts. You can't even buy a cup of coffee with that. And the cost, over $3 trillion added to the debt and a $5 trillion debt ceiling raise, brought to you by the very people who won't shut up about so-called fiscal responsibility. This isn't tax reform to relieve the middle and working class. It is a robbery that will result in the largest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich our country has ever seen. So let's not lie to the American people. This is about taking from the most vulnerable to pay off the already powerful. It is about pleasing one man who's holding this Congress hostage with primary threats and social media tantrums. This bill is cruel. It is cowardly. It is a betrayal of everything this country is supposed to stand for. I reserve my time.
All right, let's fucking go. I don't think it's, you may be able to think you could say it better than that. But being from Massachusetts, that's that's kind of how we like to get things done there. I don't think he did any holding back, no bullshitting. Laid it all out on the line right there and told him exactly how he felt. And I appreciate him for doing so and trying to raise more awareness and, I guess trying to get through to the other side, which is, again, like trying to fucking vacuum up the ocean. Probably a losing battle on that one. But let's check out again what I think AOC had one as well. Let's see here. AO Sizzle. The AO Sizz. The AO Sizzler. Sorry. All right, let's stop. All right, let me see here. All right, so let me throw this on there for you guys. So this is what AOC had to say. Let's just play her words. This is about 2 minutes 21 seconds. So let's hear what she had to say.
For 2 minutes.
Thank you, and I thank the chairman. President Trump had issued some statements throughout this process saying and urging, insisting that this bill does not cut Medicaid. He's also said some things, he says he doesn't think I'm too much of a smart person. And I'll tell you one thing. It doesn't take a smart person to know if you're being lied to. All right. President Trump, you're either being lied to or you are lying to the American people. Because this bill represents, in the text of this bill, the largest and greatest loss of health care in American history. 17 million Americans will lose their health care on this bill, not undocumented people, not quote unquote the disgusting term illegal, but 17 million Americans will have their health care cut from this bill. On this point of tax on tips, as one of the only people in this body who has lived off of tips, I want to tell you a little bit about the scam of that text, a little bit of the fine print there. The cap on that is $25,000. While you're jacking up taxes on people who make less than $50,000 across the United States, while taking away their SNAP, while taking away their Medicaid, while kicking them off of the ACA and their health care extensions. So if you're at home and you're living off tips, you do the math. Is that worth it to you? Losing all your health care, not able to feed your babies, not being able to put a diaper on their bottom in exchange for what? This bill is a deal with the devil. It explodes our national debt. It militarizes our entire economy, and it strips away health care and basic dignity of the American people. For what? To give Elon Musk a tax break and billionaires the greedy taking of our nation. We cannot stand for it, and we will not support it. You should be ashamed.
You know what? I mean, come on. You got to give it up for the girl. You may have some gropes and gripes about what she's done in the past, possibly, but you can't. I don't think there's any denying that she's spot on about this bill. She's spot on with her rhetoric. She's spot on with the fieriness. So I'm all for everything that she espoused right there on the House floor. So I appreciate AOC delivering those remarks right there. That's fantastic. Along with Jim McGovern, I believe. I don't know if they went back to back, but if they did, then it was a pretty good back to back showing there for the Democrats. Let's see here. I just want to make sure I'm not. I want to keep going back to this. I want to keep going. Here, let me go back to here. I want to keep going back to this Guardian article to make sure I'm not missing anything that's going on there. Oh my God, Jennifer! Jeepers creepers! Jennifer on Venmo just sent $50. Callie looks good on you, Brian. Hold on. Callie looks good on you, Brian. Grab a Coke and a bite to eat. Maybe a Jersey Mike sub to counter all the In-N-Out burgers. That's funny. Hold on. I got to go to all the In-N-Out burgers you'll eat. Oh, my God, Jennifer. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I've definitely had a lot of both of those. I appreciate it. I hope the lighting looks all right today. Look, watch this. You guys will say the lighting looks great, and then the camera's going to go out. I think it's a loose connection. I see it kind of fluttering and fittering every time I touch the table, but I think we'll make it. We'll make it through. Here, let me share this again for you guys. That way you guys can see what I'm seeing. See what I see. Add to stage. Put this like this because I don't like that. Yeah, so nothing to report. Let's see here. We can't make everyone 100% happy, says Johnson, as it remains unclear if he has the numbers to pass the bill. Speaker Mike Johnson has said, quote, very positive progress has been made towards passing Donald Trump's mega bill, but acknowledged that, quote, we can't make everyone 100% happy with the final package, CNN reports. Reuters reports that House Speaker Mike Johnson still hopes to convince the holdouts in his party to back Trump's signature tax and spending bill, telling reporters, quote, we're planning on a vote today. With a narrow 220 to 12 majority, Johnson can afford no more than 3 defections from his ranks, and skeptics from his party right flank said they had more than enough votes to block the bill. Now get this. Not only are they hindered by holdouts in their party that just don't agree with what's going on in this bill, don't agree what the Senate tried putting in this bill, but they also have to deal, I guess, with weather, because there are a few Republicans that have been delayed. Their flights have been delayed. Their return has been delayed. So I don't know if they're still waiting on these people or what, but you think, oh, Jenny Faye, let's go. Thank you so much. 9 months. You're welcome, Brian. Looks vibe. I appreciate that. And just as I say, we get a flicker in the camera. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I'm not looking. I'm not looking at it. Don't flicker. You're good, camera. Everything's good. Stay right there. You're good. But not only can they not get themselves on the same page, but they also are too incompetent to recognize that they have such a slim majority that it's probably very, very important for them to make sure that they get back on time to cast their vote whenever it may take place. But no, you got idiots stuck all over the fucking country because of weather. Their flights are delayed. I think they're trying to stall. Johnson's trying to do some stalling efforts, some stalling tactics. Let's see here. I'm going to go back to, we did that one. We're taking a look at this one. This is opposition from House GOP holdouts threatens final passage of big beautiful bill. That was from the 2nd. So that was from yesterday. Let's see if I can go back to this while I'm showing you that. Bam. Because I think Forbes had a few good spats that they posted here that I saw of what was going on in the House. Let me just see if I can pull up. Yeah, you might as well take a look at what they're posting too. Jim McGovern does not hold back on Republicans' marathon question of big beautiful bill. That was from a day ago, 4 hours ago. Let me go to their videos. That way I can get the latest and greatest. Let's see. Bruce defends State Department, I think headline New York. Well, let's see here. Nothing to report. There's a special place in hell for people to take food away from veterans, Jim McGovern says. So these are all going to be. Let's take a look at the clip here from Speaker Mike Johnson. Let's see if I can make this bigger for you guys. Take a look at this.
What is the White House trying to do to help folks get along here?
They're answering questions and trying to address as much as they can, but I'm not going to get in the middle of those discussions. I just think it's very positive, and I think there's a lot of forward momentum, and we're very optimistic about the outcome.
What's your message to the holdouts?
Look, we worked on this a long time. A lot of work went into this, and even though the Senate modified some of our product, the extraordinary things in this bill.
Your product? Are you fucking Pablo Escobar now? Your product. The fuck out of here. Your product. Your product is killing Americans. Your product is stripping 17 million Americans from their health care, making sure that people can't get, the nutritional value and the food assistance that they need. I think I second the motion of Loquera when I say to Mike Johnson, you can go and get fucked, my friend. How about that? Colleen, thank you so much for the $10. Don't forget about the $45 billion set for the, quote, concentration camps taken from American healthcare. Dems need to address this. You're absolutely right, Colleen. 100% right. We're also looking at the increase to, the force of Border Patrol, the influx of agents, ICE agents, which is obviously the last thing we need at this moment in time. There's a lot of different parts of this bill. Let me see. I thought I had something in here that kind of outlined the. Let me see if there's like a what to know about the bill latest. And thank you again, Colleen. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. I'm loving it. Oh, Peter, what's going on, buddy? Appreciate you. What's happening? What's up, Liz? Hey, Mozart. You don't like my music? What's going on? What's up, Cam? Mud. What's happening? All right, let's just see here. That's from a day ago, 1 day ago, 55 minutes ago. The House rushes to pass the bill. Live updates here. Should I go from a day ago? I mean, who knows how much it's changed since then. We'll check in on this. And then we can kind of compare and contrast how much it's changed when they do actually have their vote on it. Here's what's in the big bill that just passed the Senate. Let's see here. Some 887 pages of legislation is a sprawling collection of tax breaks, spending cuts, and other Republican priorities, including new money for national defense and deportations. Donald Trump has admonished Republicans who hold majority power in the House and Senate to skip their holiday vacations and deliver the bill by the 4th of July. Democrats are united against the legislation, but are powerless to stop the bill if Republicans are united. The Senate passed the bill, yada, 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 J.D. Vance, tie-breaking vote. We know that tax cuts are the priority. Republicans say the bill is crucial because it would be massive tax increase after December when tax break cuts from Trump's first term expired. The legislation contains about $4.5 trillion in tax cuts. The existing tax rates and brackets would become permanent under the bill. It temporarily would add new tax breaks that Trump campaigned on. No tax on tips, overtime pay, which we just heard AOC address, would be only up to $25,000. What you make. Overtime pay, the ability to deduct interest payments from automotive loans, along with the $6,000 deduction for older adults who earn no more than $75,000 a year. It would boost the $2,000 child tax credit to $2,200, which again is them just throwing in some cheese, as they say. Throwing in there something a little bit that the Democrats can be like, oh, look, there's or people or the Republicans can say to Democrats, oh, look, we put in more in there for the child tax credit. It went up $200, right? But don't look at the other parts of this bill, and they're going to strip, healthcare from millions of Americans, and probably drive millions into poverty. Don't look at that. Look at the $200 we're going to give people. Millions of families at lower income levels would not get the full credit. That's great. Fucking right off the bat. Millions of families at lower income levels would not get the full credit. A cap on state and local deductions called SALT would quadruple to $40,000 for 5 years. Its provisions important to New York and other high tax states, though the House wanted it for 10 years. Let's see here. There are scores of business-related tax cuts, including allowing businesses to immediately write off 100% of the cost of equipment and research. The wealthiest households would see a $12,000 increase, which would cost the poorest people $1,600 a year, according to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office analysis of the House's version. So let's just talk about that. The wealthiest households would see a $12,000 increase, while the poorest people would have to pay an extra $1,600. Now, in what world, on what planet, in what universe would your government pass legislation to take from the poorest people, the poorest citizens, the most needy citizens, the disabled citizens, the people with health issues, only to give to the richest people in the country who are already set, have the best health care, the best doctors, the best lawyers you could possibly ask for, manicured lawns, several people that work for them, if not several hundred people that work for them, if not several thousand people that work for them. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Just that alone should be enough to tank this bill. Just that by itself should be enough to tank this bill. So when Lisa Murkowski decides to flip her vote because her state got a couple tax deductions on wind and solar or whatever the fuck, I hope she's reading what's in the rest of this bill and what it's going to do to the rest of Americans and also Alaskans as well. Because if she, oh my God, Graham, what? Hold on, let me try to get out of there. Let me go over there without screwing up the camera. Graham, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, for the 50. Ron DeSantis has water pouring in his tents over the electrical cords. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I haven't seen the exact report, but I mean, I wouldn't doubt it the way things look like they're being run and set up over there at Alligator Alcatraz, right? I mean, just wouldn't surprise me if he had running water literally pouring over some open electrical cords. But thank you so much for your contribution. Very, 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 very nice of you. I can't thank you enough. So I appreciate you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Let's see if we continue. Money for deportations, a border wall. What about that border wall? It's funny that they still need money for that border wall. I thought that border wall was finished years ago. Didn't Steve Bannon no, Steve Bannon got arrested for stealing money for the border wall. That's right, on that Chinese billionaire's yacht. That's what happened. No, okay. But I thought Donald Trump said he finished up, but I guess they need more funding for that. So the bill would provide some $350 billion for Trump's border and national security agenda, including $46 billion for the U.S.-Mexico border wall and $45 billion for 100,000 migrant detention facility beds, as he aims to fulfill his promise as the largest mass deportation operation in U.S. history. Money would go for hiring 10,000 new immigration and custom enforcement officers, with $10,000 signing bonuses and a surge of Border Patrol officers as well. The goal is to deport some 1 million people per year, which is just, I believe, fantastical, right? What was the number we reported on last week's show? Something like 185,000. And I don't even know if that's necessarily been deported. That's just I think that was just detained. But again, fact check me on that one, please. Make sure we're getting the right facts and figures out there to people. The Homeland Security Secretary would have a new $10 billion fund for grants for states that help with federal immigration enforcement and deportation actions. To help pay for it, immigrants would face various fees, including seeking asylum protections. So they'd be charged now upon our already stressed and taxed asylum program and just broken asylum program that we have, the asylum system that we have in the United States. We already know it's broken and it's gross, and that we have only a small handful of judges to deal with an exorbitant amount of asylum cases, which is already just right off the bat a recipe for disaster. But on top of that, we're now going to start adding new fees and taxes, I guess, onto asylum seekers. To make sure that we really stick it to them, because not only did they just have to pay the coyote to get them from wherever they're coming from through some of the fucking harshest territory you could probably think of into our country, but now they're also going to have to pay the United States' coyotes, apparently, upon arrival when they try to do it the legal way. So again, probably, and just in my opinion, another piece of legislation that is going to make it so people do not take the legal route. Do not try to take the legal asylum route and use the asylum system because of the added taxes, the length of time it takes, the cost of lawyers, right? Just another little piece in there to make it so that we have more illegal immigration in the long run, because people are going to say, no, I'm not going to start paying on top of the money I have to pay to get here, or on top of the money that I had to leave in my country, because obviously I couldn't take everything that I own with me. I'm now going to be charged upon arrival trying to do this the legal way that you guys say I have to do it, right? I mean, it doesn't surprise you. Shouldn't surprise you. Let's see here. How to pay for it. Cuts to Medicaid and other programs. Here we go. Here's something everybody should be interested in, right? Everybody's got somebody they know, probably, I'm assuming, in their family that has some sort of assistance through Medicare or Medicaid. So to help partly offset the lost tax revenue and new spending, Republicans aim to cut back on Medicaid and food assistance for the poor. Now, hold on. Just going to make this bigger so that you guys can see that just a little bit more clearly. And I'm going to highlight that. And I want you to read that once or twice, maybe silently, maybe out loud in your house, maybe just to the person next to you, say, hey, listen to this for 1 second. What the Republicans are now trying to pass in that bill, and to help partly offset the lost tax revenue and new spending, Republicans aim to cut back on Medicaid and food assistance for the poor. I'll give you a few seconds. Take that in. You get that? Everybody get that? All right. So I think we should all have one thing in reply.
Go fuck yourself.
All right. I think that's basically the only reply that you could possibly come up with to that. I mean, Again, just one more added piece of this bill that standing alone on its face by itself should be enough to tank this bill, should be enough to outrage millions of Americans, should be enough for everybody to want to get off their seats and get into the streets to make sure that you can use your voice as it's so given as your right as a citizen of this country to protest what this government is doing. So again, I urge you to find your nearest protest, find your nearest rally, find your nearest gathering, find some people online that live in your area, find some friends, get some family members, get some signs, and make sure that you're representing for not only you, but the youth in your family and their kids. Because what happens in this bill will go on to have repercussions for years to come. This isn't something that they're going to vote on. It's going to hurt people now, and then it's going to go away. This is going to continue, and only to continue to get worse as far as when more people are denied coverage, more people fail to meet the new work requirements, fail to meet this requirement or that new requirement, and then they're unable to get, again, the oxygen tanks, new wheelchairs, food assistance. So then they slowly starve to death because they're not getting the nutrients that they need to stay alive. This bill will kill people. This bill will kill people. It's not reform, this bill. This bill isn't reform. It is a literal declaration of war on working people. And I guess I'm just here to ask, are we finally ready to fight back? Are we finally ready to take it upon ourselves to make sure that our rights aren't being trampled, to make sure that lives aren't being lost because of a fascist government? Or are we just going to sit back and let this happen? Are we just going to sit back and watch our elderly family members, our disabled family members lose their livelihoods, right? Lose their way of life and possibly lose their life altogether? So again, just in our short time reading this article, we can pick out at least 2 or 3 major things that, again, by themselves, on its own, should be not only more than enough to kill a bill like this, but more than enough to outrage millions and millions and millions of Americans to the point of getting out in the streets and uniting in the same way we did against Tesla, in protesting in a similar fashion, with the same vigor, with the same aggression, with the same passion. But we just make it 10 or 100 times bigger. So again, I urge you to find your local rally, find your local protest, because unfortunately, this July 4th, I don't feel too fucking patriotic. It's hard to feel too patriotic when at the same time we're trying to celebrate our freedom and independence. We're dealing with a fascist, authoritarian, incompetent, demonstratively dangerous government trying to pass one of, if not the most harmful bill ever passed through the halls of Congress in the United States government. So excuse me if I don't fucking run out there with my fucking flag underwear on and start waving around a couple fucking flags in honor of a country that has its own government and voted for a government that would literally harm the people, harm the citizens, do the opposite of good. When we had a clear-cut opportunity to get ourselves out of this moment, to stop ourselves from ever getting to this point. But again, we failed to meet the moment. And this is what we're left with. We're left with a country that on or near July 4th, as we try to celebrate our independence, we're watching on the news our government pass legislation that will surely kill Americans. So sorry about the little glitches on the camera. I'm afraid to do anything, to tell you the truth. I think I can just kind of unplug it and plug it back in, but I am frightened beyond all existence to even attempt that right now. I don't want to touch anything. But let me ask you guys in the chat. Let's take the discussion to the chat, to you guys. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Are we on the same page here? Do we not see multiple examples of things that are so harmful and so dangerous that you probably couldn't fathom another government trying to pass that and impose that upon their people? Unless we talk about in history some of the meanest, most dangerous people to ever rule upon states and governments. Are you as outraged about this as I am? Are we all sick and tired of watching our own government trample upon us? And where are the fucking don't tread on me assholes, right? Don't tread on me. Don't tread on me. Well, guess what? You're being fucking trampled upon, you dumb bastards. And you voted for it, and you're rooting for it, and you're cheering for it. Tell me that's not the fucking definition of hypocrisy. A group of people waving flags that say don't tread on me, that voted for a government that does nothing but fucking trample upon them. It's like Con Air. What's he saying, Con Air? Listening to a song made famous by a band who died in a plane crash. Define irony. Oh, great movie. But still, I mean, it's just, I'm glad to see we are on the same page. I'm glad to see that you people do, like I figured and knew that you did, have a brain inside that dome on your shoulders. Right? All right. I don't know. I'm think I might get to the point where I have to unplug the camera and plug it back in. But we'll see what happens again. Yeah, it was. It was. Rachel's a fucking, is just an encyclopedia of everything. She knows everyone, every show, every podcast, every movie. I appreciate you, Rach. I appreciate that. Define irony. Listening to a band and a song made famous by a band. Uh-oh. Was that? I think Bowie's trying to get in. All right, let's get in. Let's go on with this article. Sorry, before I get sidetracked. I know I'm going on talking about Con Air. I apologize. Yvonne, thank you so much. Boston Brian, the Democrats should call it the kill bill and challenge the Republicans in MAGA on it, make them sweat. Again, they are. It's just, unfortunately, we're kind of left in a situation where fighting back at this moment literally just means kind of rhetorically, right? I mean, they're kind of powerless as far as, you know, if the Republicans can all get on the same page and use their slim majority, right? So, I mean, the kill bill I like. The kill bill I like. I do like that. I'd honestly be surprised if that hasn't been used somewhere before. If not, then you better get on that copyright train. But again, we can't make them sweat. That's the fucking frustrating part about this. We can't. The Republicans know the only way they're sweating is if their own people vote against this bill, is if they can't get their own their own side to all vote in favor of this bill. That's pretty much the only way they're going to sweat. They're not sweating about anything the Democrats are saying. It's wonderful to hear rhetorically. It's the right things that they're saying. They're facts that they're saying. Unfortunately, not a ton of people get to see Jim McGovern's House floor speech and AOC speak on the floor, right? I don't know if that's going to make the nightly news in prime time. You know, you and I will see it. The political junkies will see it. But not everybody's going to see that. But unfortunately, because of the numbers game, I don't think there's much sweating the Democrats can make the Republicans do at this time. The sweating is going to come from their own side, not being able to get on the same page, unfortunately. Oh, who's a member for 14 months? Jerry, hey! Let's go, Jerry. So good to know you're here in beautiful California. I appreciate that, Jerry. I appreciate that. And the weather has been absolutely fantastic since I arrived. No complaints, obviously, in that category. Jerry, thank you so much for your continuous support of the channel. It really, really does go a long way. And you too can be just like Jerry and the rest of these fine people that have shared their time, energy, and in some cases money to help this program get along and grow and get to 15,000 subscribers, which would be just a great goal. I would be very chuffed. Right, Yvonne? I'd be very chuffed if that happened. I appreciate it. But yeah, again, you can also become a channel member just underneath me. There's a Patreon that you can check out, patreon.com/Boston Brian. And then somewhere up in the corner there's a Venmo you can take a picture of and utilize it, just like some fantastic people already have done so during this live stream. And let's get back into a little bit more of this. I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger so you guys can have a little bit easier time seeing that. So we left off. Where did we leave off? Right here. So we'll read this again just so I can further drive this home to anybody that just tuned in, somebody that may just be listening. If you are just tuning in, you just tuned in to the Blunt Politics podcast. I am Boston Brian. Right now we are covering Trump's horrendous, decrepit, stank-ass bill that is just meant to harm Americans and give tax breaks and financial gains and benefits to the wealthiest Americans in this country. Again, off the backs of the working class. I said before, this is this is a declaration of war against the people of the working class of America is what this bill is, right? Oh, Jerry, Heroyam Slava, right back at you. Let's fucking go. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much, Jerry. Thank you so much. Big salute. Big salute to you. I appreciate it. Thank you. And again, just to remind everybody again for a little show note, tomorrow we are going to be speaking with the one and only former Republican Congressman Denver Riggleman. Maybe we'll get into a little bit of his story on why it's former Republican Congressman Denver Riggleman and what he thinks about where the party has gone since he was in it. And also we're going to be speaking obviously about Ukraine, our humanitarian aid trip to Ukraine, and also what's happened since and where he thinks things are going in the future. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. For that, make sure you hit the bell, the alarm bell, in case you forget. That way it gives you a little notification, let you know when I go live. It just makes it that much easier. So, all right, let's get back into this. My apologies for the sidetrack. So, to help partly offset the lost tax revenue and new spending, Republicans aim to cut back on Medicaid and food assistance for the poor. Republicans argue that they are trying to right-size the safety net programs for the population. I just had some thought that maybe I'm rolling on a wire, but no, I'm not. Republicans argue that they are trying to right-size the safety net programs for the population that were initially designed to serve mainly pregnant women, the disabled, and children to root out what they describe as waste, fraud, and abuse. Now, quick question to the chat. Can you guys put the names in the chat of the people either working with, for, or inside the United States government that have been arrested, charged, or in any way brought up on criminal charges of fraud or abuse of the system in any way, shape, or form that Doge or anybody else has uncovered? Can you throw the names in the chat? I'll give you guys a couple seconds here, just so those. I mean, I know there's probably a ton of names you could choose from. I mean, just the list of names must be endless. So I'm going to give you a second. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to wait so the chat can catch up. I know it takes a second. Give me a few. Somebody said Steve Bannon. Yeah, we're going to go with zero. We're going to go with no, I wish. Yep. Zilch is a good answer. Zero, another answer. Dame Dog had it right. No perp walk so far is the correct answer. Yeah, I'm going to go with none, ladies and gentlemen. A big goose egg. A big goose egg, as Rock says. A big goddamn fat, big old goose egg. Number of people have been arrested, charged with fraud or abuse of any of these outlying organizations, of any federal finances, of any federal assistance, any federal loans. 0 people. That's one less than one. In case people are struggling to grasp that number, right? The package includes a new 80-hour-a-month work requirements for many adults receiving Medicaid and food stamps. Let's just think about that now. Can we just pick that apart? 80-hour-a-month work requirements, okay? For many adults receiving Medicaid and food stamps. Now, depending on their circumstances, right? And it says, including older people up to age 65. So you're 64 years old, you're 63 years old, you get food stamps, you get Medicaid. There's a very limited number of jobs, a very limited number of employment opportunities for somebody that may be 60, 61, 62, may have either, moderate to serious health issues, may not be mobile enough to do a lot of jobs that are required of you, right? So not only that, but because of that, he's getting food stamps. He or she or they are getting food stamps. And now what they have to do is they somehow have to go out and manage to get a job that not only allows them to work, but somehow allows them to work 20 hours a week, right? So what job do you know that, again, will hire somebody that's possibly immobile, possibly has serious health issues, over the age of 55, 60, right? And now we're going to try to find them a job not only that will take somebody of that age, of that health, right? But then we'll somehow implement a 20-hour work week for them, or a 20-hour work schedule that fits in with the rest of everybody working 40 hours or even more, to accommodate said person so that they can do this only to meet the requirements to get the Medicaid and food stamps they were already getting. Now, again, sometimes I got to just take a step back and be like, am I the only one? Like, am I the crazy fucking one here? Am I only the person that sees, like, when you write legislation as a lawmaker that literally says you're taking from poor people only to give to rich people, that you might want to fucking pick the pen up off the piece of paper and be like, guys, I don't know if maybe we should put that in there. I'm just thinking, because they voted me in here, to do the right thing, right? That maybe I'm not going to kill possibly millions of Americans, or thousands of Americans, or hundreds of Americans, or tens of Americans, or even one American, or strip them from their health care, or strip the food from their mouths, their federal assistance, right? Or their ability to get a new wheelchair, their ability to get a new fucking oxygen tank, their ability to put a ramp in their house, their ability to get a vehicle that can accommodate them, whatever their disability be. And the list goes on. I list these things, but this is not the end of the list. That's not everything. The list goes on of what will be cut. The list goes on of damage that will be done to millions of working class American citizens around the country. That's not it. What's up, Jeff? What's up, buddy? Hold on. Let me get you. Goalie for the Bruins, less than 20 out. right. Unfortunately, I think the possible immobility and something tells me you might be a little tough to get that stretch in. I'm not saying there aren't people out there that do it or can do it, but I'm just saying it might be a little tough to get that split in, to go from post to post at the age of 63, 64, especially with health complications. right? Especially with any disabilities or, like I said, uh, issues with nutrition, you name it, that type of stuff. But thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate you. It's a good job. It's a good job to get, if you could. It's a good job to get. All right, so let's continue with this. Parents of children 14 and older would have to meet the program's work requirements. Wait, so parents of children 14 and older would have to meet the program's work requirements. So add on top of that, all those things that I just said, that you got a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old kid. Throw that into the mix. And they're just like, yep, go out, find a job, 20 hours a week. Come back, let me know. Once you tell me that, then we'll allow you to get the food assistance and the Medicaid that you already had. I mean, what about the cases where you're a parent less than the age of 65, you have a 15-year-old, 16-year-old disabled child that requires the majority of your hours during each day in order to take care of, transport, feed, bathe, clothe, etc. So you're under the age of 65, but you got a kid that's 15 years old with a disability, and you're expected to go out and somehow find a 20-hour a job that will allow you to work at least 20 hours a week, right? Most are going to require more than that, right? There's very few jobs out there where you could probably get in, the amount of hours that you so choose. I mean, most of them are pretty set in their scheduling. Thank you, Bettina. Let's go. Bettina became a new YouTube member. Let's friggin' go. I appreciate you, Bettina. Thank you for joining. One second. My apologies. I got so happy I got a frog in my throat, Bettina. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so let's continue because I'm sure it only gets worse. Let me 1 second. I'm sure it only gets worse from here, ladies and gentlemen. Alvin Stubbe says, 1 second. The deal is 20 hours a week gets you 25 in SNAP. Republicans opposing to dramatically roll back tax breaks designed to boost. Oh no, that's the underneath writing. My apologies. 25 what? The deal is 20 hours a week gets you 25 and what? $25? 25. That's fucking horrendous. That's even worse. All right. Let's continue here. So, there's also a proposed new. Okay, take it easy, camera. You'll be up. Take it easy. Behave. The microphone should still work if I unplug it. So there's a possibility where I could just put the bill on the screen, or the article about the bill on the screen, unplug the camera, and kind of talk my way through it as it's kind of rebooting. Because I don't want to continue this whole time trying to not touch things as the camera's flinching. So why don't I do that? Why don't I do this? I'll put this up all on the screen like that. Let me see if I can, at the same time while reading the bill, somehow get underneath my computer and unplug my camera and then plug it back in. But yeah, the proposed new $35 copayment that can be charged to patients using Medicaid services. More than 71 million people rely on Medicaid, which expanded under Obama's Affordable Care Act. 40 million use the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. Most already work, according to analysts. The Congressional Budget Office estimate that 11.8 million more Americans would become uninsured by 2034 if the bill became law, and 3 million would not qualify for food stamps, also known as SNAP benefits. Republicans are looking to have states pick up some of the cost for SNAP benefits. Currently, the federal government funds all benefit costs. Under the bill, states beginning in 2028 will be required to contribute a set percentage of those costs if their payment error rate exceeds 6%. Payment errors include both underpayments and overpayments. I think this is also related to Lisa Murkowski, which we heard the reporter on yesterday's show talk about how I believe Alaska has the highest percentage rate as far as payment errors at a range of somewhere in the 20 to 25% range. But the Senate bill temporarily delays the start date of that cost sharing for states with the highest SNAP error rates. Alaska has the highest error rate, as I was just saying, in the nation at nearly 25%, according to the Department of Agriculture data. Senator Lisa Murkowski, Republican from Alaska, had fought for the exception. She was a decisive vote in getting the bill through the Senate. Excuse me, just a second. All righty. Yeah, so we talked about that. We talked about that on the last show, how she was very adamant and strong against this bill. But the backdoor concessions and the backdoor dealings that she had somehow allowed her the moral clarity and the ability to come out and make a switch in front of the American people to vote yes on this bill solely and for the selfish reasons of some clean energy tax breaks as far as solar and wind are concerned, and a few other things that she got for Alaska. But again, in the big picture, on the whole, what she got was minuscule in comparison to the damage that will be done by this bill. And I don't think there's any denying that fact. So let me just see if I can plug this whole thing back in here, see if that's going to work. But Republicans are looking to have states. Oh, I already read that. Excuse me. My apologies. But the Senate bill is temporarily delaying. Did I read that? All right. Yeah, I'm flying through this thing. Let's go. So a death sentence for clean energy. Republicans are proposing to dramatically roll back tax breaks designed to boost clean energy products fueled by renewable sources such as energy and wind. Let me see. Oop, pop back. There we go. I'm back in action. Hopefully it's not going to glitch anymore, but we're back in action. I think we did that smoothly. Somehow I made it underneath the desk and was still reading this article at the same time. So give me a little bit of credit for flexibility at the least. So let's see here. So yes, we're reading a death sentence for clean energy. As we just learned, they're looking to dramatically roll back tax breaks designed to boost clean energy projects. The tax breaks were a central component of Joe Biden's 2022 landmark bill focused on addressing climate change and lowering healthcare costs. Again, another incredibly negative aspect of this bill. Another aspect of this bill that by itself, on its face, standing alone, should be enough to make people rightly second guess, to rightly kill this bill, or at least call for the removal of said piece of legislation in it. But it goes on to say Democratic Oregon Senator Ron Wyden went so far as to call the GOP provisions, quote, a death sentence for America's wind and solar industries in an inevitable hike in utility bills, end quote. A tax break for people who buy new or used electric vehicles would expire on September 30th of this year instead of the end of 2032 under current law. Again, fighting against and it's funny too, because now we're back to, remember how we thought it was like, oh, they're going after Tesla and electric cars is only going to hurt the idiots and the morons and the MAGAs that are now buying Teslas because they love Elon Musk. But now those roles have reversed so much, right? That Donald Trump is back to bashing on electric vehicles. Donald Trump's just several months after he turned the White House into a fucking Tesla dealership, right? So not that long after he turns the White House into a Tesla dealership, the man is now once again railing against electric vehicles because of his, I guess, feud with Elon Musk, his continued feud with Elon Musk. Meanwhile, a tax credit for the production of critical materials will be expanded to include metallurgical coal used in steelmaking, Trump's saving accounts, and so much more. A number of extra provisions reflect the GOP priorities. The House and the Senate both have new. Can you guys hear me? I just want to make sure. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. I keep hearing a beep in my ear there, lad. Not sure what the beeping is there in my ear. Just want to make sure I'm being heard. Okay, Pam says yes. I'm going to go with the Pam there. Appreciate you there, Pam. All right, so let's see here. The Senate provided $40 million to establish Trump's long-sought National Garden of American Heroes, the new excise tax on university endowments, a $200 tax on gun silencers, and short-barreled rifles on shotguns was eliminated. Okay, so now we got not only stripping Americans of health care, not only taking food assistance away from Americans, not only taking, vital medical equipment away from disabled people, not only making taxes go up on the poorest people while giving tax breaks to the richest people, but now we got gun legislation being reversed, right? Now we have legislation being put in place that makes it, I guess, easier or more enticing to get gun silencers and short-barreled rifles and shotguns, right? So I guess we'll throw that into the old pot there of things that should ultimately kill this bill by themselves. One provision bars money to family planning providers, namely Planned Parenthood, as we discussed on the show, while $88 million is earmarked for a pandemic response accountability committee. Another section expands the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, a hard-fought provision from GOP Senator Josh Hawley, Missouri, for those impacted by nuclear development and testing. Billions would go for the Artemis moon mission for the exploration of Mars. Additionally, provisions would increase the national debt limit by $5 trillion to allow continued borrowing. Hey, the party of fiscal responsibility, guys, the party of fiscal responsibility, the party that says that the Democrats want to do nothing but raise the debt limit, raise the debt ceiling. They just want to make it so your kids are just buried in debt. We're going to pass this on to our kids and their kids and then their kids, and it's going to be almost impossible to live. We can't possibly do that. We need to cut defense spending. We need to make sure that we don't have any more debt added to our national debt. Oh, no, you're going to add $5 trillion? And no, we're going to have our first $1 trillion defense budget? No, good. Nope, I was kidding. I was only kidding about the things I said earlier. That was a joke. I'm very happy for the increased defense spending. I'm very happy for the extra $5 trillion added on to the national debt limit there. That's fantastic. Pretty good. Another great piece of this legislation that is, just encompassing what this whole piece of legislation kind of represents now, which is just the dumbest, most Republican, most conservative bullshit that you could possibly push through in a large form legislation, right? All right, so last minute changes we'll take a look at here. The Senate overwhelmingly revolted against proposals meant to deter states from regulating artificial intelligence. Republican governors across the country asked for the moratorium to be removed, and the Senate voted to do so with a resounding 99-1 vote. Provision thrown in for the finals provide $10 billion annually to rural hospitals for 5 years, or $50 billion in total. I believe that's the Murkowski, right? I thought I saw that as far as what Lisa Murkowski got. Some provisions, some annual assistance, financial assistance to rural hospitals. But again, fact check me on that one. $50 billion in total. The Senate bill had originally provided $25 billion for the program, but that number was upped to win over holdout GOP senators. Right, it was Murkowski in a coalition of House Republicans, warning that reduced Medicaid provider taxes would hurt rural hospitals, as it will. The amended bill also stripped out new tax on wind and solar projects. Again, Lisa Murkowski, her backdoor dealings, That's what she got out of that. What's the final cost? Let's see here. Would increase federal deficits. This bill, altogether, the Congressional Budget Office projects that the bill would increase federal deficits over the next 10 years by nearly $3.3 trillion from 2025 to 2034. or not, depending on how one does the math. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I just want you to do the math. I don't want different ways to do it. Senate Republicans are proposing a unique strategy of not. I see what they were doing of not counting the existing tax breaks as new costs because those breaks are already current policy. Republican senators say that the Senate Budget Committee chairman has the authority to set the baseline for the preferred approach. Under the alternative Senate GOP view, the bill would reduce deficits by almost $500 billion over the coming decade. The CBO said. But again, Democrats say this is magic math that obscures the true cost of the tax breaks. Some nonpartisan groups worried about the country's fiscal trajectory are siding with Democrats in that regard. The Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget says the Senate Republicans are employing a, quote, an accounting gimmick that would make Enron executives blush. Right, so I just wanted to give a little rundown again of some of the major things, or just some of the highlights or lowlights, if you will, of this bill that they're trying to pass. Let's see if we can check back in on this. We'll check back in on this one here, see if we can do a little refresh action, see if anything's happened here. 2 hours ago, despite White House access, Dr. Phil's pro-Trump cable network files for bankruptcy. Oh, that's great. So they're still at a standstill. I'm assuming. Let me go to the comments because you guys typically are up to date and know your stuff. Yes, Rocks, absolutely. Trickle down has never worked. Yeah, what do you guys think? Has there been any movement? Should I see if there's been any movement? Any? No, I don't think I can. I can get rid of that one. I can get rid of. Oh, is this live? Let's see if I go to the live. See if anybody has a live shot of it. I'm going to get rid of this. Go to this. Just to make sure I got the most up-to-date information for you guys to gather. Here we go. So this was 6 minutes ago. Was it playing? Anything playing? No, just not gonna. Come on. Come on. Little Susie, wake up. Come on. Just play. That's what you want to do. That's what you were born to do. You're a video. You were born to play. All right, let's see if we can get a refresh. Hit me with a refresh. No. Oh, that says, what are we doing here, people? All right, I'm going to back out of that. There's got to be some sort of, I'm going to type it in. Let me see here. House bill latest. Let's see here. Due to economics, JD says, not going back, blush, magic math, because math has liberal bias. Let's see, I'm going to keep going down. The line in the sand has been drawn. I honestly do believe that is the case. P, I do believe that. Oh, Karen says I will never understand this process. So it just goes from one to the other, back to the other, then back to the president, kind of in in the most simple terms possible. Yeah, agreed, Frankie. I agree on that one. I agree. Let's see here. This is the live feed. See if this works. See if I can share this for you guys here. Throw this up on here. Make it a little bigger. So on agreeing to the resolution as amended, Republicans have 173 in the yay, 175 in the nay. Obviously, they're still voting. But this is on just the resolution as amended. House weighs President Trump's big, shitty, disgusting, decrepit, stank-ass bill. The divided House is set to take up President Donald Trump's disgusting, shitty bill after a narrowly approved measure yesterday with Vice President, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, a bunch of standing around, people clicking a couple buttons. I don't think anything major is happening now. It doesn't look like Mike Johnson Am I wrong here? Because I'm like Lokira. I know sometimes I have a hard time following. They're just kind of, this is just a vote on a resolution. This is not the main vote on the whole bill. As far as my knowledge takes me, I don't believe it is. Again, they're voting on, I believe, different things to take in and put out and to change amounts of. But if that's not the case, please let me know in the Chizat. That would be fantastic. It really would. But yeah, again, nothing here to report. Must be the Sam Adams and popcorn at the pub in Boston. Let's see here. Ha says it's the vote about whether we're going to have a vote that we're going to vote on. That's the real vote. This vote. So this is just a vote about voting. You know what? The fucked up thing is that's probably accurate. Like that's literally probably the case. I'm waiting for the chat. I'm waiting for the chat to catch up to see if somebody knows. Because as far as I know, they're just kind of voting on amendments and resolutions. But please let me know. I'm waiting for you guys to kind of tell me different. You know, when they're done voting, they'll vote. Hey, listen. They could be doing it Britain style, right? They could be doing it fucking UK style and just be like yelling and screaming the whole time at each other and like waving paper and shit. That would make for at least a little more interesting discourse. This is the vote about whether it is going to be voted on. Now, at this point, I don't know if you guys are joking still or if this is the actual fucking procedure. That's how fucked up it is. That's how fucked up our system is. At this point, I don't know if Jim is telling me the God's honest truth or if he's rolling with that joke, continuing with that joke. I don't know. What's up, BT? What happening, dude? What's going on? Sounds legit. Is it a vote around? Yeah, weren't they calling it some fucking stupid? Oh, get out of here with these nicknames and bullshit. Right? Let's see. Let's go to yes. Yes, but the wigs. Yeah. Come on. Tell me that would make it a little bit more interesting, right? If Jim McGovern was up there just bashing the shit out of Republicans in one of those fucking wigs, right? Tell me that wouldn't be just the slightest bit more entertaining for us. Just watching Bernie get up there in one of those wigs. Now, listen to this as I bring it up what the Republicans are trying to do. All right. We don't have to get too crazy. All right. So let's see if we can jump into, maybe we should take a look at this article real quick while we're kind of hanging around waiting for them to vote or not vote or see what news comes out of there. This is also something that I wanted to take a look at. Anybody that's followed this channel for long enough knows about my continued passion for and support for and advocation and raising awareness of the plight in the fight going on over there in Ukraine. Every single night, Vladimir Putin continues to send drones and missiles into different Ukrainian cities, taking out innocent men and women. Donald Trump has done little to nothing about this situation as far as helping the Ukrainians succeed in their mission and ultimately defeating the Russian military, or at the very least pushing the Russian horde back into their territory, out of Ukrainian sovereign territory, and returning that land to the people of Ukraine. So it has, again, as we've talked about on this show, the drone attacks, the number of attacks has pretty much doubled under Donald Trump as far as being launched upon the Ukrainian people. So again, not only has he not helped or done anything to quell what's going on over there, He has done the opposite. He has made it more frequent. He has made the drone strikes more frequent. He has made it and given the ability to Vladimir Putin to conduct more of these operations without fear of repercussions from the United States. Oh, thank you, Ricky. Hold on, let me see. Thank you so much, Ricky, for the 5 gifted. Again, very nice of you guys. I love when you guys are generous, especially to each other. So now there are 5 fabulous people that are watching this program right now that have definitely already hopped out and hit the like button, because I now have an app, a little app, an AI app that tells me who has liked and who hasn't liked the stream. So don't unless you want to be outed on stream, you better hop out and like that stream. No, I'm kidding. I don't have an app like that, but hop out, like the stream. That would be great. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ricky. Make sure if you're one of the 5 people that got a membership gifted to you by Ricky, that you give her a shout out, give her thanks, and say thank you. So appreciate you, Ricky. Thank you so much. Appreciate you watching. But let's get into this. Just a little bit of the U.S. not sending more weapons pledged to Ukraine following a Pentagon review of military aid. Just want to bring this into light to continue to show how, the American government makes it more difficult for Volodymyr Zelensky and the Ukrainian military to ultimately succeed in their mission, instead of just giving them the funding, giving them the weaponry, giving them the assistance that they need to carry out this fight themselves, ultimately, in order to do our dirty work in keeping the rest of Europe safe, to ensure that Vladimir Putin and his military don't then try to go on to conquer more of Europe as they step over Ukraine, because Ukraine was not helped to the level it needed to be helped. And ultimately, we let that be eaten up by the Russian horde in the Ruski Mir takes over. That's when we'll really wish that we did everything that we possibly could, everything that we threw everything that we had at the Russians, at Vladimir Putin, to make sure that they stayed wherever the fuck they were, and made sure that wherever they were, it was on Russian soil and not Ukrainian territory. So 237 watching and 292 likes. That's typically not the ratio you see. I'm happy, but where the hell did the other few, where'd everybody go? Oh man, where'd everybody go? That's rough. That's a tough look. No, but I appreciate it. All right, let's get into just a little bit of this. We don't have to go through the whole thing, but the U.S. is halting some shipments of weapons to Ukraine amid concerns that its own stockpiles have declined too much, officials said Tuesday. Now, let me ask you guys a question. The United States, the most capable, the most powerful, the biggest fighting force the world, the planet has ever known, who at multiple times in its history were fighting wars on either multiple fronts or fighting against multiple enemies on multiple fronts, or involved in conflicts or police action or whatever the fuck you want to call them in multiple different countries, who is currently not at war with any country, is currently not expending any war material in defense of itself, as far as the homeland is concerned, right? Only to Israel, right? And other places, the weaponry that we have given to Ukraine. So where and why are we now somehow running out of ammunition? How are we somehow running out of material? Why are our stockpiles being depleted to a point where we cannot then remake or recuperate said material in a way to make it so that the inventory stays steady? I'm just wondering how, what happens if we did get engaged in war right now? What happens if we did get engaged in a war that we had to fight on multiple fronts against multiple enemies? in multiple air arenas of the battlefield, in the air, right, on the sea, fucking on land, drone technology, AI, cyber. And you're telling me that somehow that right now, when we're not actually at war with any country ourselves, that our stockpiles have declined too much? Well, that seems like a fucking defense problem. It seems like they've gotten enough money where they should be able to keep up on the production of said fucking military equipment. And if they're not, where's the money going? Why are they not producing this military equipment at a rate where it's fucking being where it can be steady? Why are our stockpiles being declined so much? Are we sending that much weaponry? Are we sending that many missiles and bombs to Bibi Netanyahu for him to continuously drop on Palestinians? For him to continuously drop on Iranians? Is that where all our bombs went? Yet we have a problem. There's an issue that we have somehow with fulfilling our duties, fulfilling our capabilities as the strongest, most powerful, the richest nation on earth. And what we actually could do. I am fucking not buying this stockpile bullshit for fucking 2 seconds. I wouldn't believe that fucking lie as far as I could throw it. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the fact that we don't have fucking stockpiles lying all around this fucking country, in warehouses all across this country, in bunkers underground all across this country, in mountains all over the fucking place. From the times that we were at war in Iraq, in Afghanistan, from the production of our defense contractors and other companies since then. What have they been making? Nothing. They've been doing nothing. We just wasted and fucking sat there and made sure that our stockpiles were depleted by Israel while we watched them commit a genocide, while we watched them literally fucking try to spell out the definition of ethnic cleansing on a people in front of our eyes and continue to do so. And while also watching Benjamin Netanyahu lead Donald Trump by the nose into fucking striking Iran's nuclear facilities. So I'm not buying it. I'm not fucking buying it. Certain munitions were previously promised to Ukraine under the Biden administration to aid its defenses during the more than 3-year-old war. And you know what? I have confidence in the Biden administration's ability to understand and to run the numbers of what they actually had as far as material and what they were able to give as far as fucking weaponry and military equipment. Because I'm calling bullshit. I have confidence in whoever fucking was doing these numbers and whoever ran this program to determine how much we could actually afford to give, at least under this certain agreement. We obviously had to make sure that we had those weapons to give. You don't just promise a certain number if you can't guarantee that number. So I have confidence that the Biden administration did their homework in order to make it promised to Ukraine that we would supply and deliver these weapons. So I'm not buying this stockpile bullshit. The pause reflects a new set of priorities under President Donald Trump. It came under Defense Department. Officials scrutinized current U.S. stockpiles and raised concerns. The decision was made to put America's interest first, following a review of our nation's military support and assistance to other countries across the globe. Another area that we could talk about, another piece of this pie, the flip side to this was, are they preparing for a war? Is the Trump administration, is the Defense Department, is Pete Hegseth, is fucking Dan Raisin Kane preparing for war? Is that why we can't afford to send these weapons? Is that why they say our stockpiles have declined too much? Because in preparation for war, military advisors and people will sit around and they'll make sure that they have the facts and figures down to say that, listen, we're at this percentage in our stockpile in this area, this area, this area, this area. We need to make sure that we're at least this percentage before we undertake any, military engagements etc. Right? So maybe what they're doing is they're now doing the numbers behind the scenes, and they're not liking what they're seeing in terms of going to war with another country, right? In terms of going to war with the cartels, which we've heard them talk so much about. Things have been quiet thus far for the last few days as far as, the relationship between Iran, the United States, and Israel, that circle jerk that's going on, right? But that doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. That doesn't mean that peace or whatever they're calling peace right now is going to last. So are they preparing the United States for war, thus cutting off our allies with weaponry that the Biden administration, who was not planning on going to war, made sure that they promised to Ukraine because they knew they had that stockpile. And in times of peace, the stockpile that you need and the percentage that you require, I'm sure, is a lot different than when it fluctuates when you're preparing for war, right? So maybe that's the difference in the accounting of our stockpile and why they think it has declined too much in order to deliver this shipment of weapons to Ukraine that was promised by the Biden administration. They give some bullshit about this decision was made to put America's interests first, following the war of our review of the nation's military support to other countries across the globe, yada, yada, yada. Just ask Iran. This was a reference to Trump's ordering strikes against Iran. Yeah. Pentagon stocks of some weapons found to be low, officials say. Pentagon review determines that stocks were low on some weapons previously pledged. So sending shipments of some items won't be sent, according to U.S. officials who spoke on conditions of anonymity to provide information that was not yet made public. The Defense Department did not provide details on what specific weapons. Of course, they didn't. No specific details on what weapons weren't being sent because supposedly we didn't have enough in the stockpile. And apparently the United States does not have the ability to produce weapons at a rate fast enough to allow some to be sent to a country currently at war when the United States itself isn't at war. So apparently we cannot, in this country, manufacture weapons fast enough for our military in order to recuperate the loss when we're actually a country not at war. We're in peace times, but are providing to a country that has been at war for some years against a larger force, right? So go figure on that one again. America's military has never been more ready and more capable. Yeah, we saw that. We saw a good example of that in Trump's parade. Let's see here. Remember the video we watched? Let's see. From someone who was at Trump's military parade, what's this guy say? Was a disaster. Why Trump's birthday parade was a total disaster. Breaking Trump's nightmare parade. Trump has a Monday meltdown. His humiliating parade takes hold. So yeah, that's about the half of it, I guess, is on how the U.S. military, I guess, is now looked at, thanks to Donald Trump and the incompetent leaders that put together his military parade. But, I guess, what are you going to do on that one? Let's see here. The halt of some weapons is a blow to Ukraine, as Russia has recently launched some of its biggest aerial attacks of the war in an escalating bombing campaign that has further dashed hopes for a breakthrough in peace efforts championed by Trump. Talks between the sides have grounded to a halt. Of course, we cannot fail to mention, as I have not, the uptick in strikes seen inside of Ukraine in recent months, as Donald Trump was coming in saying he was going to end this war in 24 hours. So again, we saw the complete opposite happen. Not only did peace not transpire, not only did peace talks not really take place in any fucking real way, but the bombing has only increased. The bombing campaigns and aerial attacks by Russia have only increased by double by some reports. And at a time when those aerial attacks have been increasing and are steadily increasing, we are now going to revoke our promise, pull back on our promise of delivering weapons that were promised by the Biden administration to Ukraine, because our stockpiles as a nation at peace times, in peace, I guess, are not at a level sufficient enough to allow those weapons already set to go over to Ukraine to allow them to go over. Thank you, Kathy. I would like to hear your opinion. If someone did attack the U.S. and because of nitwit president, would NATO and buy us? I'm assuming would they? Are you? How can I end that question without understanding it? I would like to hear your opinion. If someone did attack the United States and because of the nitwit president, would NATO and something U.S.? Are you saying like would they help us? Would they defend us? I mean, they did, right? After 9/11, right? We saw NATO countries come to our defense. We saw some that didn't stand by us. I think they would. I mean, again, we have a tendency to look at Donald Trump as a sole figure, rightly so, because of the disgusting acts and disgusting nature and horrendous fucking person that he is. But a lot of Europe and other countries do tend to separate the office of the president from the president himself, if that makes any sense, right? So they would respect knowing that they would in the future have to deal with other U.S. presidents, other U.S. leaders, or at least their country would have to deal with other U.S. leaders, other U.S. Presidents. They would absolutely, I believe, fulfill their duties. Obviously, of course, highly dependent on what the situation is, who strikes, why they, what the strike was, why they carried out these strikes, and so on and so forth, right? But I do think that they would respect the United States, respect the office of the presidency as much as they probably despise Donald Trump. So let me see here. I think I still have that live feed going from the house. I keep hearing them in the background. Looks like they were still on that same resolution. Let me get out of that. I'm going to get out of that so it doesn't take up too much bandwidth. But yes, so I hope that makes a little bit of sense as far as my opinion is concerned. Again, I know Trump was touting, Republicans were touting the fact that NATO leaders have agreed to increase their defense spending. But again, if you take a step back and look at why Europe is agreeing to increase their defense spending, is because of the threat posed upon them by the Russians, by Vladimir Putin, because of the weakness of Donald Trump. So yes, he is in two ways responsible for Europe increasing their defense, and one is because of the dangers posed by his inability to control or curtail what Vladimir Putin is trying to do over there. So they are seeing the writing on the wall as far as the inability to count on and trust the United States going forward. I think we have definitely been taking a hit on the world stage as far as trust, as far as the the people having the like I said, the trust, I guess, in the ability to the United States to do the right thing and support and defend democracy all over the globe, and to come to the aid of whatever nation needs it, especially if we are allied, one of those situations. So I hope that answers the question in a very long form way. A very long form way. Let's see here. I know there was a couple other things that I wanted to touch on. Let me see here. What do you guys think in the chat? Let me know what you guys think. Anything you guys want to touch on the last little segment that we have this evening before I let you go? Again, don't forget that we are going to have the one and only. Let me see. Do I have I should have it in here already. If I was a real professional. If I was a real professional. Let me see. Here it is right here. Throw this on the screen for you guys. For those of you who tuned in late, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you could also hit the like button, share, and subscribe to the channel, all free things that you could do that help this channel immensely. But I just wanted to, again, let everybody know that tomorrow's show, our Thursday show, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, we are going to be speaking with the one and only Denver Riggleman. Let me see if I might have to pop this one out so I can put this one in. Boom. Put this one back in here, and we'll get our little graphic that Mel spent time making up there to inform the people of our guest tomorrow and give them the proper respect they deserve for, again, sharing their time and energy and coming on to the little show that is Blunt Politics. I'm Boston Brian. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. And yes, tomorrow, the one and only Denver Riggleman will be joining the broadcast. Make sure you're tuning in for that. I mean, what else are you doing during the day, really? I'm sure you got nothing else going on. So even if you have to listen, that would be great. I appreciate anybody who even comes back after the fact, maybe after work, after school, whatever it may be, and watches afterwards and comments and shares. You guys are really a part of the backbone of this community. So thank you. Make sure you guys are tuning in tomorrow for that one. Again, we have the July Zooms. Make sure you throw those in the old schedule bank. The 15th and the 29th for those of you signed up at patreon.com/Boston Brian at any level. And then, of course, this is the new show schedule for anybody that is new to the program. Throw this down in the old memory bank or just hit the notification bell because it will notify you when I go live. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you for sticking with me and tuning in. We did go as far as making an upgrade to the internet. It has not kicked into effect yet, so hopefully coming soon we will have, I don't know, maybe more stable internet connection, I should say. So that is something that we're looking forward to. And again, I appreciate everybody that stuck with me the other night. Sometimes you just get those little glitches in the matrix where nothing really works right and everything's slow, and I think yesterday was one of those days. So thank you guys. I appreciate you joining me. Let's see, there's got to be a few other things that I wanted to cover. I know I posted on YouTube, or Mel was kind enough to post on YouTube about some rallies on July 4th. Let me see if I can pull those up. July 4th. Let me see that just in case any of you guys are in the area. Women's March 1 day ago. Free America anti-protest plan for 4th of July. Here, let's see if we can check this one out. Throw this one on the old stage of Ruski for you guys. Free America anti-Trump protest plan for 4th of July weekend. Does this kind of give it? No, that's about the Senate voting. The Women's March is organizing protests across the country on the 4th of July in a push to free America from President Donald Trump and his billionaire allies. The group has listed some 150 gatherings in the District of Columbia, New York, Maryland, Wisconsin, Illinois, Florida, Massachusetts, and dozens of other states on its website. Please make sure, if you can, if you have the time, if you have the ability, the mobility to, check out the website, check out in your area where they might be if you're in any one of these states, plus the other states that are listed on their website. See if you can get over to one of those, because the more people that show up, the more force we show, the more power we have. And I promise that's true. It really is. There's many examples in history in the past that we can look at where, unfortunately, a show of force was needed in order to conquer your mission in order to obtain your goal. They want us scared, divided, and alone. They don't want us to dream about freedom. That's exactly what we have to do, organizers wrote in a statement on their website. This 4th of July, we will be in the streets with songs of freedom and joy. The dream of American freedom belongs to all of us, and we will not stop in our pursuit of its promise now or ever, they added. The Women's March says its goal is to free America from the grip of billionaires who rig the system for their own benefit and to invest instead in ending poverty. Everyone should be able to afford food, rent, health care, and a decent life, the statement said. Their demonstrations follow nationwide mass demonstrations on June 14th, hosted by the umbrella group No Kings organization on Flag Day, coinciding with Trump's birthday, and an army parade that was shit in Washington. Another group, 50 what do you say? 5501. Oh, yeah, that's right. 5501 movement organized protests on President's Day in February and again in April. The organization's title represents 50 protests in 50 states and one movement. Protesters represent rising frustrations with Trump over deportation sweeps, volatile tariff policies, and deep cuts to social safety net in his mega bill, which Republicans hope to send to the president by July 4th. Trump responded to the last day of protest by saying he doesn't feel like a king. Quote, a king would say, I'm not going to get this. A king would have never had the California mandate to even be talking. He would have had to call up Speaker Mike Johnson and John Thune to say, fellas, you got to pull this off. That makes absolutely no sense. Sounds like a Trump thing. Speaking of which, let's see if he's shown any signs of frustrations with this bill not having been finalized yet. Let's see if we can round off with some of the fat guys' frustrations. Let's see here. So, an hour ago, he says, let me see if I can share this instead. An hour ago, he says, it looks like the House is ready to vote tonight. Nobody said that so far, I don't think. Mike Johnson said he's hoping to vote tonight, but I have not said anything where they're having a definitive vote tonight. But, reality doesn't matter in this case. We had great conversations all day, and the Republican House majority is united. It's just not united. That's why we're in this position, because they're not united. For the good of they're actually like literally not united, because some of them are stuck in different parts of the country due to weather. So they're like literally not united. For the good of our country, delivering the biggest tax cuts in history and massive growth. Let's go Republicans and everyone else. Make America great again. Sukamugats, you piece of shit. Let's see here. He also said Rep. Jamie Raskin, a third-rate Democrat politician, has no idea what is in our fantastic tax cut bill, nor would he understand if he did. This dope, capitalized, has been consistently losing me for years, capitalized, and I love watching his ugly face as he is forced to consistently concede defeat to Trump. Now, has Trump, you think, seen his face recently? Do you think he's one to talk? I mean, has he seen his neck lately? Not sure I'd be the one bringing up, insults about our looks in the facial area if I was Donald Trump. That's all I'm saying. And tonight should be another of those nights. Raskin is a bad politician and a total loser. Let's see here. Written by a 5-year-old. The USA is on track to break every record on growth, except for, the economy. Go Republicans, beat the crooked Democrats tonight. Pro-growth, tax cuts, never fail, make America great again. I'm surprised he didn't say thank you for your attention to this matter, as he so loves doing these days. Let's see here. Anything else worth reporting on as far as this asshole is concerned? Nope. Doesn't look like it. So he can kiss my asshole there, Chief. I think, like I said, we definitely got something. This drop was specifically made for Donald Trump. Anytime he said something, did something, wanted to implement anything. So we might as well get some use out of it, right? So Donald Trump, this message is for you, my friend.
Go fuck yourself.
Thank you. Appreciate it. This was brought to you by Blunt Politics. I'm Boston Brian. Oh, shiza. All right. I'm going to start saying some thank yous, shows of appreciations to everybody in the Venmo area, in the Super Chat area, Super Sticker area. And thank you to everybody that liked, shared, subscribed. Thank you to everybody that shares it out on Blue Sky, Facebook, those that follow or subscribe on Twitch, whatever you guys do there. I promise I have been trying to send communication to Twitch to try to figure out how we can get to, I don't know what it is, partner level or something over there. I don't know what the hell it is over there. I'm not sure. But I'm trying. I promise I'm trying. Behind the scenes, we are trying to do the work and spending the money and investing in things that we believe will make this show better. Again, the Wi-Fi, the internet is absolutely not cheap. That is definitely an investment for the show in order to make sure that we can eliminate, the internet glitches, the lagging of the streams, and sometimes the fuzzy picture of it. We're hoping to try to eliminate that so it's better for you and easier for you guys to watch and digest. And obviously, people don't like watch fuzzy shit. You know what I mean? So we're trying to fix that for you. We are trying to, again, spend the money in the right places. So I want you to know that every dollar counts. Every dollar helps. It goes a long way into making sure that we have the ability to, if better Wi-Fi, better equipment, whatever it may be, microphones, lights, whatever the hell it may be, if they come along, that we have at least the option or ability to make that a possibility for the show so that you guys get a better viewing experience. So let's make sure we get into everybody who my apologies, who donated to the show today, and then we'll get you guys out of here for the rest of your night. You know what I mean? So I don't want to take up all your time. That's the most valuable thing you have in your life. So I'm going to try to make sure I get you guys the information that you need. Again, the focus is on the bill. Hashtag fuck Diddy, or no, maybe that's not the hashtag I should throw out there. Maybe I should have thought about that one before I said that one. Hashtag lock Diddy up. I haven't really been on top of that like other people may have been, but I did see the news that he pretty much got off, as far as I'm concerned, scot-free, especially for what was already on video, for the evidence that was plain to see for everybody. He got off even more lightly than what that evidence showed to the world. So again, not a good moment for justice, not a good moment for the ability to put powerful people behind bars for the crimes they commit. So yeah, those, just a little quick thought on that, because I know that was something else that was up in the news too. So let me get through this. Cam Research, let's friggin' go. 1 month. No, thank you, Cam. I really do appreciate you, my man. I appreciate the support. I appreciate you being here for 1 month. I hope you're finding it enjoyable. I hope you're finding it a nice place for you to at least, I don't know, meet some cool people in the chat. Maybe I suck, but there's definitely some cool people in the chat that should bring you guys back time and time again. Michael Irish, let's go. I promise I will get to that email, but thank you again for being a member for 8 months. Goes a really, really, really long way. Thank you, Dame Dog, Big Dog. Let's go. Ken Harbaugh said he's planning another trip. Like I said, I'm going to have to reach out to him, see if he may want to come on the show and kind of maybe promote what's going on, if it's something that he can promote. Thank you, Ricky, again, for the huge 10 gifted. Just a fantastic gesture. I appreciate it so much. I know somewhere down the line you even go even further. So thank you for now, and we'll wait until later to give you the next thanks. Kathy, thank you so much. Thank you for the $10. You are a member on Patreon and on YouTube. That is huge. So fantastic to hear that, you are there are people generous and kind enough out there where not only do you go the extra mile on one platform, but also on multiple platforms. So it's really touching. Really, really makes this worthwhile to hear that it gives you that much either entertainment or laughter or information, that it makes it worthwhile for that to happen. So thank you, Kathy. I appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. Yvonne coming in with the 20. Just a big dump. Big, massive dumps. Hold on. You get a big dumps. Where are they? You get the big, massive
Call them
dumps.
dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Big, massive dumps of memberships. We got dumps. Big, massive dumps of memberships. One more time.
They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
So thank you, Yvonne, for the huge, massive dump of memberships. That is fantastic. Just lucky 20 people that were watching this broadcast that weren't originally signed up as members that now get to have a membership. Thanks to Yvonne. Thank you so much, Yvonne. Very fantastic of you and very generous of you to do. Thank you so much. Ricky, I appreciate you for being here for 14 months. Just fantastic. We're going to run down the line here. Jenny Faye for 9 months. We got Ada being here as a new member. Ada becoming a new member twice. I don't know how that happens, but it did happen. I appreciate you, Colleen. Again, Yvonne coming in with the 20. Thank you so much. Graham with a huge 50. You're the best. Nordez, thank you so much. Bicycle Mike, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Frank, unbelievable. Just what a great night. I appreciate you guys really, really showing up and showing out tonight. Yvonne with another 10. Jerry coming in, becoming a new member. Jerry being here for also 14 months. Again, I don't know how that happens. Multiple accounts. I don't know. Maybe that's how fantastic you guys are. Jeff is here. Jerry again. Jeff again. Bettina's here. Cecilia's here. Cecilia again with the super sticker. She said, welcome to California, helping cover for your California driver's license. Thank you. I appreciate that so much, Cecilia. Thank you, Ricky, again. Thank you, Kathy, again. Thank you, Sheldon. Thank you, Jim, for the 5. The way the voting looks, it's going to be a tie, which means the resolution fails. Again, we shall see. Only time will tell. JD, thank you so much. Rachel, thank you so much to round it out. I really do appreciate you guys. I'm going to let you guys get on with the rest of your Wednesday evening. Make sure you're tuned in tomorrow for our interview with former Republican Congressman Denver Riggleman. That should be a fantastic conversation. So I hope to see you tomorrow. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Thank you to everybody on Venmo that contributed on Venmo. Let me see 1 second here. Jennifer, thank you so much. And to anybody else that I'm missing that contributed on Venmo, thank you so much. I'm going to let you go. I appreciate it. Until tomorrow, this is Blunt Politics. I'm Boston Brian. Hit the like on the way out. It really, really helps. And I will see you guys later. Let me see if any of this works. I hope it does. I'm not sure if it will, but it should. And I'm out.
Ooh.